Eze scored his first goal for Arsenal, and the fans are asking, how can we spend this match and still look disjointed? It's all about chemistry and gelling. That's what some of the pundits are saying online. So Arsenal beat Port Valley 2-0 at Valley Park, and that helped them advance to the next round of the competition. Arsenal fielded a heavily rotated team. So the opponent, Port Valley, is a League One side, 61 below Arsenal in the Football League system. So after the match, Mikel Arteta talked about different things. The first thing he talked about was mindset and preparation. He said these kinds of games are never easy for big clubs like Arsenal, and he stresses the importance of reputation being at stake for the club. I also mentioned that momentum is key because once you let the opposition into the game, the crowd becomes a factor. And mind you, it was an away game for the Gunners. He also touched on the match performance. He said Arsenal started well, scoring early and creating more chances because Eze scored for Arsenal. I think he scored in the 8th minute. Yes, he did. I was trying to confirm. But they lost control in the second half as Port Valley started playing more directly. But luckily for Arsenal, the substitutes made a positive impact and helped secure the win, of course. I mean, who do you think scored the second goal to help the Gunners secure the win? Obviously, it was Trossard. And he also mentioned a few players, for instance, of course, Eze, and Eze scored his first goal for Arsenal, and he described the goal an important moment. So Eze played centrally. Arteta says Eze's role depends on system and players around him. So Eze has creativity and threat in final third, but needs to stay involved in the game. That was what Arteta said. And another player that Arteta talked about was Christian Nordegaard. No, what did I say? Christian Norgard. I don't know where I found the difference. So Norgard made his first start, and he was praised for his leadership quality and character. So Arteta said it was an important piece of the squad rotation. Bukayo Saka, he played 60 minutes. What's happening to me today? So he played 60 minutes. This was planned due to recent injury recovery, and Arteta also confirms that Saka will be available for the weekend game versus Newcastle. Now, so let's dive into the squad depth and rotation. So Arteta had to start players who could not finish the game due to fitness, and Arsenal's depth is improving, and the subs are having real impact, which is crucial for competing on multiple competitions or multiple fronts. So let's talk about the next round in upcoming fixtures. Arsenal will face Brighton at home in the next round of this Carabao Cup, and it's not going to be an easy draw. It's not an easy draw because Brighton are strong, they're well scouted, and they score a lot of goals. And then that's not it. A huge league match versus Newcastle is coming up, which means the first thing we need to remember when it comes to this game is the fact that Arsenal have lost their last 3 games at St. James's Park. So we'll see what happens this weekend. Newcastle are intense and dangerous, even without Alexander Isak. So what did the pundits say after the match? The first thing they talked about was Arteta's tactics. So they said Arteta appears more edgy and under pressure this season. He needs to win silverware. He needs to win a trophy. That's what they said, because the club has spent big and expectations are high, and some pundits even feel like he overthinks tactics, especially in big matches. They want him to be confident, and they want him to have more faith in his players. Another thing they talked about was Arsenal's performance this season so far. So they said Arsenal are still finding their rhythm. they have had a tough start, Champions League and the Premier League campaigns will test them, and because of different factors, the pressure is mounting, and they need trophies this season, or this season. Did I say this season? They need to win trophies. They need to bring silverware this season, or questions about Arteta's future will grow louder. The goals. So Eze's goal, it was nicely worked. He was able to find the space between lines, and but this is what they said. The game should have been closed down earlier by Port Valley. They mentioned this because it looked like a very easy game for Arsenal. So when they said that, it should have been closed down earlier by the other opponent. It means Port Valley's defender, they did not apply pressure quickly enough to the Arsenal players who had the ball. But in this particular case, they were talking about Eze. So they said they should have defended well, and they failed to do that. And they also talked about Trossard's goal. Well, obviously he came off the bench again to score. This will be his second of the season. It was a smart touch from him and reverse finish. So Trossard's goal highlighted Arsenal's strong bench impact this season. Of course, if you want to know about Port Valley, this is the information I got. Of course, there were some positives despite the defeat. They had 2 new signings this season. The squad is still gelling, and good ownership and fan base supports. That's what they have, and the team is starting to show improvements and climb the table. So, what are the key takeaways from Arsenal's match? So the result: Arsenal win 2-0 away to Port Valley. Eze and Trossard are the goal scorers. There were changes. There was a squad rotation. Strong subs helped the Gunners advance into the next round. Eze scored his first goal. Norgard, that was his first start, and Saka played for 60 minutes. There were certain tactical concerns raised about Mikel Arteta. They said, Mikel Arteta must deliver trophies this season, and the next match, Arsenal will face Newcastle, and it's going to be a big challenge. And the next cup opponent is Brighton. But the good news for Arsenal is they will face Brighton at home, even though it's a difficult tie. And that's it.